Well, hey there, everybody. So today we're going to work on Chapter 10. We don't have too many for this chapter, but let's go ahead and just dive in. We'll start at 4.4. And this one, it has some really particular instructions, so we'll just go ahead and draw it, and then we'll go ahead and play around plugging those settings and then detail it like normal. It's 4 wide. And to the slant is 1.09. And it's the same on the other side, so we'll go ahead and trim that other slant. And then it's 0.91 and 1.64. So we can just extend that. And there's our first slant. And it's 3.09 to the other slant. Okay, so let's put in that little groove. So it's 1.64, 2.36, and 1.27. And we'll extend this. Trim, 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 and trim. One more trim. Okay. To our circles is 0.55 from the bottom. I'm going to assume it's 0.55 on both sides, but just to be safe, we'll do like the book and do 0.55 from there and 2.91 to the other one. Well, let's just check and see if it was 0.55. Ah, it was not. That's why it's good to follow the dimensions, even though you can assume it's symmetric. It may not be. I also deleted this one from the bottom earlier. Okay, so 2 times 0.73. A goof there. Thought I may have. Be really careful. Sometimes you may think you grabbed that intersection, but you didn't. Got that one right there. Okay. So we can delete this. Not all that. And it appears that actually the slot is also sharing the same center point. Unfortunately, they failed to give us a width location, so we have to do a little math here and say 1.09 divided by 2 is 0.545. So the slot is 1.09 overall. So now we can just draw and connect it. It's a diameter of 0.36. That was a happy mistake, wasn't it? Oh. Okay. Well, let's put in those center marks. We'll extend one of these over. And let's play around with these dimension settings. So, modify. Okay, so baseline spacing. Gotta find it first. It says change to 0.25. Extension beyond dimension lines. 0.1. Offset from origin. 0.05. And an arrow size. 0.09. And finally, we got to do the text height. It doesn't let you change it unless you change this text style to annotative, just so you know. 0.08. And let's hit OK. So now we can dimension it like the book. It does say use baseline space, or basically it's saying all of that so that you use baseline spacing. So we'll go ahead and use it that way. I did use the wrong layer. Alright, so I must have chose the wrong end first. We're just going to go through and click this one, this one, this one, and that's it for this one. Okay. Do the same thing on the bottom. Actually, no, because these are laid out a little different. I do want to take a moment and actually go back, because we can do 2 decimal places here. So while we were in here, we probably should have changed that. The primary units, 2 decimals, go. All right. So then I believe it's from here to here. Got the 2.0. Wrong dimension, but that's okay. We actually need to move these down a little bit too. So I'll dimension here. Give us a spacing. I want it to be roughly here. And this guy needs to shift down a bit. Oh no, actually. That's hilarious because their dimension values actually conflict. So in order for this dimension to be 291, this one shows 0.92. So I believe the solution here is actually to make this 0.55 after all. Let's see. So we try moving it 0.05 over. Okay, some bad math there, I guess. 0.005. That's one of those things that's kind of finicky because it's like, how are we supposed to quantify that? I think the ideal solution would have been them just have it be symmetric, but as you see, that was the problem. This should be 0.55 as well. So, in hindsight, yeah, ignore this dimension because it's not really correct. It's 2.91 with a round off. So just do 0.55 on both sides. Yeah. Okay, so maybe it's 0.545. So I was checking to see. If it was 0.55, it would be a problem. So what you need to do is assume that you've got 4 overall width, you've got this value, you've got this one, you've kind of got to make it work to where these all line up. Sometimes there's a little finagling, and obviously I'll be considerate of that. In my world, I would just say it's symmetric, call it a day, and move on, but I think that this dimension would be wrong if that were the case. So for now, 0.545 is this one. So anyway, we need a 4 dimension. need our height dimensions. Now we could rotate these, but I don't think we will. It's not really great to do. Works in some cases, but this is not one of those. All right, we'll put 2 times in front of this. Two times. I guess we could play around with rotating these. It's been a minute. Let's see. I believe you have to make a separate dimension style, but let's play around. Yeah, that's what I was worried about. Okay, so what we'll do is make another dimension line, or dimension style. You can call it whatever you want. I'll just call it align dimensions. If I can type. It'll be the exact same settings as the other one, except for on text, I'll do align with dimensions. I guess I could probably do ISO, but I think they're basically the same. And then I need to select these two and these two and change them to be aligned. Now, nowhere in there did it mention that, but obviously that's how you do that. Okay, so let's jump over to exercise 4. And that's going to be this. So we'll start at 4-4. Now this one's actually tricky. Let's have a minute to talk about this. So when you see dimensions with a parentheses set in front of it and after it, it's saying that that's a reference dimension. It means that you're not supposed to draw with that value. It's more to confirm the accuracy of your drawing with the other values given. So make sure not to draw using the 1.74 dimension. Instead, we're going to draw that giant circle, and that'll be the basis for everything. So I'm going to draw that circle at 2.01. And then, let's see, I guess I'll draw a vertical line, offset it, 0.87, both ways. I'm going to draw the circle, or the triangle, connect the dots. I'll offset to get our double circles above it. And they are diameter 0.5. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I might have deleted that without looking. Okay. Let's do it again. Apparently I wasn't clicking. I didn't realize that. Okay. So, intersection 0.5. Looks like we're on that similar page where the midpoint's really close, so be careful. Make sure you're grabbing the intersection. And then we have another one at the midpoint. Trim out this portion. And let's add center marks. Okay, so it doesn't have the center mark for this. I guess we'll delete it, but technically you would have a center mark. And we can go ahead and dimension it. We'll start over here on the left with the 0.87 dimension. Now do you see why it says use it as a reference? Because it's not exact. Sure, it rounds up to 0.87 whenever you change the precision, but that's only whenever you change it. So if you draw by that, you're going to make your drawing quite wrong, as you see. This is a great example. So now that you've seen that, I'm actually going to go in and change the precision of the decimals. I was waiting to do that. We'll change them to the traditional 2 decimals. And I'm going to go ahead and put in the parentheses on these. All right, so we'll do that dimension, that one. Let's flip this to the other side. That way it's a little, well, actually, you know what? It'll fit. Not really, though. Maybe it'll fit right here. Nah, not comfortably. So that's okay. We'll put it right there. Yeah, not great, but it looks fine. All right, so we've got that, and I believe this. Okay, so that's it for that one. Let's jump over to exercise 5. And this one we're going to do, let's see, what are we given here? We've got a polygon with an edge. Okay, so we'll do a location of 4, 4. And you know, I honestly don't know the size, so I've already messed up. Let's see. 6. There we go. Edge. So there's our first endpoint. I need to make it ortho so it aligns, and then say 1.6. So now we've got that with pretty minimal effort, really. So now we can just do offsets for the circles. Well, this is one of those pitfalls, unfortunately, having a polygon. It's all connected, so we'll make a random line. And here's our other circle location. And conveniently, the other direction is aligned to these edges. We've got 3 circles of one size and then 1 circle of a different size. I'm going to go ahead and draw the different one first. Got 0.52, 0.53. I can then copy. All right, delete this stuff. Add center marks. And let's dimension it. Let's change the dimension precision. Oops. Bad snap. Make sure you're grabbing the endpoint, not the triangle I got there. Okay, so then you can either dimension each of these circles as they have, or you could just say 3 times, you know, by 3, and then have your 0.52 one dimension. That would probably be a lot easier, but we'll match kind of what they did here. Okay. So now it's time for the last one. It's also inches, and that's going to be exercise 7. All right, so this one we will draw a circle at 4, 4, and it's going to be 2.5 diameter. Looks like we'll have a center circle of 1.75. We'll go ahead and make it a center circle. And we'll just draw a little line temporarily to find the crossing. 0.35 in size. So we'll make these center points, and then we'll go ahead and actually do a polar array here. We're going to choose our axis and change this to 8. Okay, so this part's kind of tricky with the 180-degree dimension, but what it's trying to have us do here is actually a baseline. The baseline's kind of finicky with angles for some reason, so like you can do the one that's adjacent to the dimension you want to use, and then basically it'll default. You can start doing it that way. I know it's kind of silly to have like this one you're going to delete, but the only way to get this 180 is through doing this kind of trick, though. For whatever reason, you can't actually do like a typical 180-degree dimension just clicking end to end. Let's do a dim break. I don't know if you noticed, but I have some overlap here, so let's fix that. So we'll do from here to here. We'll probably have to do it a few times, so just keep repeating until we don't have this guy popping up anymore. Choose the endpoint, midpoint, do it again. And I think this should be last time. And there we go. Okay. We got that, and then let's put in our other dimensions. We've got 2.5, 1.75, and this one. 8 times equal paste. Now, I've never had a time where it's too much work to top the full thing, but apparently whoever makes these does have that problem. All right, we'll do two decimals to spruce it up a bit. That's gonna be it. All right, thanks for watching, everybody.